Brutal loss for the Philadelphia Phillies in light of everything we've been watching this team do so far this season. This is Postgame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. Ricky Pitalico, I'm Ben Davis, I'm Michael Barkan. And here's the thing, first consecutive losses for the Phils in more than 1 month. I didn't think that wasn't going to happen anymore. I just didn't think tonight it was going to look like that. Taijuan Walker. And then not enough runs, obviously.
This was one of the ugliest games we've seen in a long time from the Phillies. I mean, hitting-wise, they were. All right, let's go with terrible. It was really bad. I mean, 18 ground ball outs. Think about that for a second. 4 strikeouts. That's 22 of your 27 outs just deleted just like that. And the one thing I will tell you right now is the Brewers outplayed the Phillies like all around the baseball diamond. Defensively, the Brewers were outstanding, especially the infield. Those guys didn't miss a beat on any ground ball. And stealing bases, they made the Phillies look horrible defensively.
Yeah, Ben, they have a complete team, Milwaukee, and it looked far from that for the Phillies tonight.
Yeah, they almost looked like they were uninspired out there for the Phillies, especially the offense. And you have those nights, unfortunately, like that. They just look flat, pretty much flat. I don't know what approach they were trying to do off Priester tonight, but obviously it wasn't working. And just the 4 hits and off both Hall and Priester, and that's something that we're not accustomed to seeing this lineup doing. But I agree with Ricky. The Brewers just outplayed them, and they outpitched them for sure, and definitely outslugged them. And he was with the Brewers as well. But getting back to Ricky's point, it just didn't seem like Taijuan had a whole lot of finish on his pitches tonight, and he was trying to make it happen out there. You see him exerting a lot of energy. Just didn't have his best stuff tonight. ERA go from 2.97 up to 3.53. He gave it all he had tonight, but it unfortunately it just fell a little bit short.
Bad start with no help.
Bad start with no help, and when you look at the last 5 games for the Philadelphia Phillies, they're 2 wins and 3 losses. They've averaged across those 5 games just a little bit more than 3 runs per game. So as much as the pitching struggled tonight, you got to get runs up.
They left a lot to be desired, not necessarily even tonight. They were 0 for 4 tonight. I'm surprised they even had that many runners on base because it wasn't that good for the Phillies offense. Phillies offense was anemic tonight. You got to, I mean, I don't know how anybody else wants to look at this. They didn't come to play tonight. It looked like they were sleepwalking through the game. The score shows it. Everything kind of shows it. But, I mean, when you look back at that Braves series, there were a lot of opportunities to score runs, especially in the first 2 games of that series. And I think they came up a little bit short, again, with runners in scoring position. And that's something that's going to haunt this team and has haunted this team for about 3 years. They go through these streaks where, they might score 3 runs when they should have probably scored 6 or 7 runs.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, you're right. You see an inning, they come out of an inning with a run scored and the bases are loaded and you're thinking, I wish they had a little bit more. Yeah. They got the 1, but they needed more than that. The starters, one guy opened up and the next guy finished off the deal. When you look at Hall and Priester, how much of this game was because of these 2 guys and the way they fought versus the Phillies pitching giving up 6 runs?
I would say these 2 guys. I mean, Hall and Priester, they threw the daylights out of the baseball. I mean, you know what? You have to give them credit. When you're getting 18 ground balls in a game, that is ridiculously high. I mean, that's something that any pitcher would strive for. Why do you think Priester only threw 71 pitches in 6 innings?
Yeah.
Because he's getting ground ball outs. He doesn't worry about the strikeouts. And he had no strikeouts in the game.
Yeah. And they just had 1 walk between the 2 of them in the game. And you also look at the fact that this is a ball club that obviously is built for slug, but not 1 strikeout for Priester through those 6 innings. He just relied heavily on that sinker. And think about this. 1 through 5 in the Phillies lineup had 4 at-bats. From 6 through 9, they only had 3 at-bats in the whole game. You never see a 6 or 7 hole hitter only getting 3 at-bats in the game. But that's what happened. That's how early these guys are swinging and getting themselves out. And the fact that they didn't have more than 3 at-bats in the game, it just blows my mind because you just never see that anymore.
16 ground ball outs for Quinn Priester. Hall had 2 ground ball outs and then 2 fly ball outs for Priester in a real solid performance. Here's a question for you on the Phillies side of things. Taijuan Walker and Mick Abel are lined up. They are on the same pitch schedule. What do you think next time?
I think we see Mick Abel in the next start that's open. If Aaron Nola is not back, I think we're going to see Mick Abel.
And that's starting to trouble me a little bit as well, is this whole ankle issue with Aaron and the fact that he hasn't responded in the fashion that they thought he was going to. And this is something, obviously, it's his back foot, so it's his push-off, it's his drive leg, and that's something that for him not to be able to go yet, it's just, he's just getting back in the swing of things. And he might need a rehab start down at the lower levels and to see if he's really ready to go. But I'm surprised it's taking this long, but that shows you the severity of the injury. Just hopefully he can get back and be the Aaron Nola that we know and love.
Meanwhile, Mick Abel, 1.08. That's a 1.08 ERA in his last 7 starts, one of which was up here with the big club. 8 strikeouts tonight for Mick Abel. So maybe we do see him coming up next time he is scheduled to start, because Taijuan Walker, it's just growing more and more difficult.
Not there. I think Walker's going to be better served, maybe a 2-inning guy out of the bullpen. I just think that would help the team a little bit more right now.
Let's hear from Rob Thomson post-game in the clubhouse.
Walker was on a bunch of extra rest. You still didn't want to push him past 88 pitches there?
Well, we were sort of between 90 and 100 where we wanted to go. He came out of the 4th inning, and really there was one ball hit hard through 4 innings. So walks leadoff guy, Chirios, it's 1-2 pitch. They left cutter over the middle of the plate, and then it's Yelich. So want to kind of shut it down right there, but Banksy just left the slider up a little bit. He got it away, but left it up. Yelich put a good swing on it.
The plan still for him not to pitch out of the rotation the next time?
We're not there yet. We got to sit down and talk about it.
What would go into that, I guess? Like, just because I know it's been difficult sort of treating him rotation, bullpen rotation.
Yeah, I don't want to flip him back and forth. So we got a lot of things to talk about.
How big of a factor in the series do you think the running game is going to be tonight?
That's one of the things we talked about in the meeting today. They're going to do a lot of things. They're going to steal bases. They're going to steal third. They're going to bunt, hit and run, safety squeeze. They play small ball and a lot of it, and they try to create chaos. And you got to kill the chaos. And that's the plan.
What do you see from Lazar tonight? Gave you a couple of pretty good innings, probably pushed him to the max.
Yeah, that's his first time this year that he's had 3 ups. He was really good. Fastball was good. It's got good life, good ride to it. He was landing his breaking ball. He saved the bullpen. That's what he did.
I think they only threw 99 pitches in the first 8 innings of the game.
Yeah.
There was a lot of early swings. Was that the idea of the approach tonight?
Well, they threw strikes, 1, and Priestner kept the ball down. I mean, we had 18 ground ball outs, 17 on the pull side. So, part of that is approach, and part of that is the pitcher. So, we got to get back to using the entire field and try to get the ball up in the air.
Why do you think it's been harder for JT to kind of find a consistent rhythm? Is it just all about the leg kick?
Yep, that's all it is.
What gives you a sense when he's like starting to come around? Is it
He starts driving the ball to right center. Tells me he's got his timing. Tells me he's got his swing path.
Stating the obvious, when Bryce is not in your lineup, how different, I guess, does that make the dynamic, maybe for the opposing team, or maybe just the energy that is missing from the middle there?
Well, he's one of those guys where you always know where he's at, and so you plan around that, and you always know where Schwarber's at too. So, it's difficult, but I mean, we can't control it. He's not. We got to play through it.
Man, what a special talent, what a special player, former MVP. Guy can do it all when healthy.
For the Phillies' part, they have not lost 2 consecutive games since April 25th, and that was part of a 5-game losing streak, if you'll recall. Washington swept by the Mets, the first game of the Chicago Cubs series, and then that left them at 13-13, and then they went on the tear they're currently on. This is the first consecutive losses they've had since then.
So we got to write down 5:30 is the last time they lost 2 in a row.
5:30. I hope that, and I hope it's a while before.
Think about the pitching they had the last couple days. They had to go up against Sale last night. I mean, that's a good luck. Go get him with the way
with
he's
Zach
throwing the ball.
Wheeler, though. With Zach Wheeler,
correct. But then today, you look at the way Hall and Priester threw the baseball. It's one of those things. You're going to run in a buzzsaw every now and again.
And it is the way they threw the ball tonight. They they shoved, and they didn't stop. I mean, it's one of those things where it almost seemed like the Phillies knew they had to go up there and swing because they were getting strikes, but they just were hitting it directly into the ground.
Yeah, by the way, they were missing Bryce Harper, just FYI, who misses his 3rd consecutive game tonight. Here's Taijuan Walker post-game in the clubhouse.
How did the extra rest help? I know there's a lot of days between starts.
I mean, physically I felt good. Yeah, 9, 10 days, whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to get into like a good routine, good rhythm, and but yeah, I mean, I felt good. So,
How did you adjust your routine with that long of a layoff?
just extra bullpens, extra workouts. Really, I mean, that's kind of really it. Yeah,
What do you expect your role to be moving forward after this?
I have no clue. Yeah, I don't know.
You tweaked your slider before your last start. Got some swing and miss with it tonight. How did you feel with it?
Felt good. Yeah. When I threw it in the zone, I got some good swings and misses with it. I expanded a little bit to kind of see if they would chase it. Something I'm still learning to see where I should throw it. And when I get 0-2, 1-2, I feel like it's going to be a pretty good weapon. I thought it was pretty good today.
I know you kind of pride yourself on like the pickoff move and your ability to hold runners on. Just what kind of factor is that the running game for them?
Yeah, I mean, obviously in the 5th inning I walked the guy, but I felt like I had a pretty good chance to picking him off, and I didn't make a good throw, and pretty frustrated with that because I feel like if I pick him off there, I had him leaning. If I pick him off there, then it's a different inning, and maybe I'm getting him out and finishing the 5th though. So.
Talk about how tough it can be going back and forth from rotation bullpen. Saying you don't know your role going forward, how tough is the uncertainty?
I mean, it is tough, because again, it's a lot easier when you know when you're pitching, especially as a starter. It's once every 5th day or 6th day, whatever, we have off day or whatever. So that makes it a lot easier, and then you kind of know your routine, and you kind of just stay on schedule. And the uncertainty of is, I don't know if I'm pitching 7th, 8th, or 9th day, and it's a little tough. But just gonna go out, do what I can, and just control what I can.
If they do move you to the bullpen for good, I guess, or do you think you can help this team in a role? Maybe that's not like a long reliever role. Maybe they're envisioning something bigger than that.
My goal is to help any way I can, and again, I'm pretty confident in my stuff, and with this new slider, I feel pretty confident in it. And just if I had 1 inning to blow it out, or 2 innings, whatever it is, and I feel like myself would play up just a little bit more, and knowing that I got 1 inning, just let it eat. So I think so.
You would do maybe like fastball, splitter, the slider.
I think the cutter's pretty good still too right now. So I feel like I still have a full arsenal, and just depends who the hitter is, and just kind of attack like that. Yeah. Thank you.
Despite the quasi-power outage, he hasn't had a homer in 24 days. That would seem to be a little bit extended. He's doing everything he can to help this team win right now. As we look at inside the box score, Bryson Stott, nothing doing. Trey Turner with a run scored. Kyle Schwarber 2 for 4 and gets an RBI. He just keeps hitting it up. Bohm, nothing. And Castellanos with the home run. Kepler, look at the bottom 4 in the lineup.
Yeah,
Not a hit to be found, Ben.
You look at that home run by Castellanos. How easily did he swing at that?
Yeah.
It was just.
Think he was looking for it?
I don't know, but he just got the barrel to him. But he couldn't have swung any easier at that. Why can't we do that on the golf course, Ricky? Why do we always have to overswing? Unbelievable. But you're looking at, you go through that lineup, though. I will say the bottom of the lineup is starting to concern me a little bit. The fact that you got Kepler down there hitting 222, Real Muto at 225, Marsh at 211. So these are some alarming numbers there at the bottom.
And Sosa's numbers have dropped considerably.
A little bit,
too.
yeah. But if you can't turn that lineup over at the bottom or get on, you just can't rely on the guys at the top all the time to get it done. I know they got it done tonight. Obviously, Schwarber did his thing and Castellanos, but it is a little bit alarming. I'd like to see those guys get it going a little bit more.
All right, to the clubhouse once again. Here is Nick Castellanos on tonight's game.
The guy Priester who pitched most of the game for them didn't have any strikeouts, but what did he do effectively kind of to you guys as a lineup, do you think?
I think he commanded his sinker really well and threw his off-speed pitches for strikes when he needed it.
How different is the feel in the lineup from Bryce? Not in the middle there.
There's definitely a difference.
How much easier, I guess, maybe is it for teams to navigate, when you don't have that guy kind of sitting there anymore?
Well, I can't, it's hard for me to answer that question because I don't really game plan against ourselves. But, I mean, he's a two-time MVP. So, you know, just having his name in the lineup, regardless if he does well or not, is going to help everybody else in the lineup.
Individually, does your approach change while you're trying to provide a little more slug or anything, or are you still doing exactly what you would do whether or not Bryce is in or out of the lineup?
Yes.
Hitting 290 at this point, I mean, just overall, like, how do you feel about your consistency to this point?
I feel okay. I feel good. I feel like I'm competing. I'm not giving away too many at-bats. But I don't feel like I've really, like, found my stroke yet, if that makes sense. But, I mean, most of the time in this game, you're not going to feel great, but it's figuring out how you're going to be able to be a tough out, like, when that's happening.
What's the balance between trying to be a tough out and also maybe selling out for maybe more slow?
Wow. Genius. You're completely,
Trying to achieve right now?
no doubt.